My name is Margaret Robertson, and I can tell you the exact moment I stopped loving my boyfriend Jack. It wasn't when he told me casually and without eye contact I'm going on spring break. You're not invited. It wasn't even when he laughed afterward as if the idea of me joining him was absurd. No, it was when he asked me without a hint of irony to print his boarding pass for the trip he was taking to get away from me. For 2 years, Jack and I lived together. Looking back, the changes in our relationship were so gradual they were invisible, like dust piling up in corners. Until one day you suddenly notice you can't breathe. I was the one carrying the weight. I paid the rent, the utilities, the groceries, the car insurance. Jack worked part-time as a content creator, which meant he spent most afternoons filming himself drinking espresso. I bought wearing clothes I paid for. I never minded contributing more. I've always been traditional that way. I like taking care of the person I love. But there comes a point where taking care of someone turns into being used by someone, and you don't realize the difference until you're drowning in it. It was a Tuesday night, one of those nights where work had drained every ounce of energy out of me. I opened the apartment door and walked directly into chaos. Clothes everywhere. Sunglasses, skin-tight shirts, linen pants, still tagged, cologne bottles rolling off the counter. Jack was in the bedroom frantically stuffing outfits into the suitcase I bought him for his birthday. I stepped over a tangle of shirts. Hey, what's going on? He didn't even glance at me. Packing. Cabo. Thursday. I blinked. Cabo. We didn't talk about Cabo. He finally looked up, rolling his eyes with the kind of irritated superiority people use on toddlers. I told you, Margaret. Samuel and the guys planned a spring break thing. A pre-summer blowout. We need this. I asked, setting my keys on the dresser. And when exactly were you planning on telling me, am I going? Jack laughed. It wasn't a kind laugh. It was cold, dismissive, the type of laugh that makes something inside your chest tighten painfully. Margaret, no, you're not invited. He held up a sheer white shirt, admiring it in the mirror. It's a boys' trip. No girlfriends allowed. You just kill the vibe. You're so serious all the time you'd probably want to go to bed early and complain about the music. Heat rose in my chest. I pay for this apartment, Jack. I pay for your car. I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years because I'm saving for a house for us. And you're telling me you're blowing $2,000 to party in Cabo with your single friends and I'm killing the vibe. He spun around, his expression shifting instantly into that familiar mask of victimhood. Oh, here we go again, throwing money in my face. You know I'm building my brand, Margaret. Networking is part of my job. He snapped the suitcase shut. Honestly, this controlling attitude is exactly why I need a break. You suffocate me. Suffocating him. The irony nearly choked me. I looked at him. Really looked at him. I saw the entitlement, the casual ungratefulness, the way he viewed me, not as a partner, but as a resource. I wasn't his girlfriend. I was his Wi-Fi, his electricity, his refrigerator stocked with convenience. A utility. Fine, I said. My voice surprised even me. Calm, empty, final. You're right. You need a break. Go to Cabo. Have fun. He paused, clearly surprised by my lack of resistance. Then a slow, smug smile spread across his face. See, that wasn't so hard. He walked over and tapped my cheek gently, patronizingly. By the way, can you transfer me like $500? Just for emergencies. Samuel says the clubs have high covers. Something in my brain flipped like a switch powering down. Sure, I said. Right now. I transferred the money. I printed his boarding pass. I even drove him to the airport the next morning. The ride was silent on my end while he chattered excitedly about the VIP tables Samuel had allegedly arranged. When we pulled up to the terminal, he didn't kiss me goodbye. He just checked his reflection in the visor mirror, opened the door, and said, "Don't wait up next week. I might stay at Samuel's if we land late." Have fun, Jack. Bye, Margaret. Try not to be boring while I'm gone. He shut the door and strutted into the terminal, wearing the clothes I bought, dragging the suitcase I paid for, headed to a trip funded by my overtime hours. When I got home, the apartment, usually chaotic with Jack's clutter, felt peaceful. Quiet in a way it hadn't felt in a long time. Then I noticed it. Jack had left his old iPad on the coffee table. He used it mostly for watching videos while he cooked, or more accurately, while he watched me cook. It was synced to his messages, and the screen lit up with a notification before I could look away. A group chat titled Cabo Royals popped up. Samuel Bro. Did you get the cash, Jack? Yes. The wallet came through. Sent me $500 for emergencies. Samuel Legend. Does she know Sophia's meeting us there? My blood ran cold. Sophia, his ex-girlfriend from college, the one he swore he blocked. The one he told me was manipulative, toxic, but good in bed. Jack, hell no. I told Margaret she's too boring to come. Imagine bringing her to a club. She'd look like someone's mom. I need a week off from playing house. Samuel. Well, get ready. Sophia got a table at Mandala. We're pulling a single life reboot for the next 7 days. Jack, correction. I'm single until I need rent paid next month. Let's go. I stared at the screen. He hadn't just lied. He hadn't just cheated. He had monetized me. He had turned our relationship into a subscription service, and I was the one picking up the bill. I set the iPad down slowly. No screaming, no crying, just clarity, sharp and cold. Okay, Jack, I whispered. You want to be single? Consider it done. The strange thing about betrayal is that once the shock burns off, something else rises in its place, clarity. Cold, structured clarity. By the time I closed Jack's iPad, my mind was already moving with a precision I didn't know I possessed. He wanted freedom. Fine. I would give him nothing but freedom. The lease was in my name. The security deposit came from my account. I had paid for 95% of what existed under that roof, the furniture, the electronics, the plates, the mattress. He slept on every night while telling his friends I killed the vibe. He used to say bills gave him anxiety, that monthly payments made him feel trapped. So I took care of everything, for 2 years. Now his anxiety was about to meet adulthood for the first time. I dialed my landlord, Mr. Henderson, a grumpy Vietnam veteran, who hated dealing with tenants and hated Jack in particular. He answered on the second ring. What now? He barked, as if the universe had personally inconvenienced him. Hi, Mr. Henderson, it's Margaret. His tone softened by exactly 0.5%. Oh, the girl who actually pays on time. What's up? I'm moving out today, I said simply. He grunted. Finally. I never liked that boy you had living there, always calling me about nonsense. Is he staying? No, he can't afford it, and he's not on the lease. Well, he said that solves that. You want your deposit back? Place better be spotless. It will be. One more thing, I have someone who wants to take over the lease. Can she meet you Monday? He repeated, suspicious. Is she needy? No, I said with a small smile. Quite the opposite. Her name was Dana Cole, a co-worker from my company's operations team. A woman built like reinforced concrete and twice as unmovable. Short, broad-shouldered, tattooed down both arms with a buzz cut she maintained every Friday at exactly 6 p.m. She worked as an electrician before joining our facilities department, and she was the kind of woman who didn't flinch at anything. When I called her and explained the situation, she didn't ask a single question. She just said, "Tell me when to move in, and tell me what you want me to do when that boy shows up." I exhaled for the first time in hours. Just be there, that's all. Margaret, she added, voice lowering into that gravelly deadpan she used whenever she meant business. I hate entitled little influencers. Consider this my community service. Packing my things took only a few hours. I had always kept my belongings organized. Emotional chaos hadn't turned me messy. Jack's things, however, were another story. The entire time he lived with me, he treated the apartment like a storage unit for things he didn't appreciate. I went to Home Depot and bought 20 heavy-duty boxes and a stack of black trash bags. I didn't sort anything. I didn't label anything. I didn't treat anything gently. I simply removed his presence from the space with the same efficiency he removed respect from our relationship. His designer shirts, the ones bought with my credit card, folded once, then dropped in a box. His mountain of skincare products swept into a bin in one swipe. His shoes tossed into trash bags without a second thought. There's a kind of peace in packing the possessions of someone who never treated you like a person. It feels like sweeping out the dust from a corner of your life you kept pretending wasn't growing. By Sunday, the apartment was unrecognizable. My furniture was gone, moved into the small but modern condo I secured downtown. The walls were painted, the floors steam cleaned, every trace of us, or rather every trace of him, erased. The only thing left behind was a single envelope on the countertop for Dana containing the garage remote and mailbox key. And in the detached garage, 20 cardboard boxes with his entire life stuffed inside, stacked next to oil stains and a few cobwebs. The symbolism was poetic. His life choices had the same support system as those boxes, unstable, neglected, resting in a dark corner where he had not realized I could simply walk away. Moving into my new condo felt like oxygen entering my lungs again. Floor-to-ceiling windows, quiet hallways, no clutter, no ring lights, no piles of clothing for content. Just space, peace, mine. I sat on my balcony that first night watching the city lights flicker on like 1,000 tiny awakenings. I thought I'd feel heartbroken, or angry, or numb. But what I felt was steady, grounded, a woman who had finally stopped waiting for someone to appreciate her. My phone buzzed once. A message from Jack sent from Cabo. Jack, service is trash here. Miss you, babe. Can you transfer me another $200? Samuel wants bottle service. I stared at it. The audacity. The absolute detachment from reality. I didn't reply. I simply blocked him on every payment app, then blocked him on messaging, then turned my phone face down and listened to the quiet hum of my refrigerator, a sound I realized had been absent for 2 years under Jack's constant noise. 3 days passed. 3 days of peace, quiet, and rediscovering what my own breathing sounded like. 3 days of settling into a life without being someone's financial scaffolding. Then on Thursday morning, Dana texted, "Dana, he's back. I'll let you know how it goes." I felt a stillness spread through me. This was it. The moment Jack's curated fantasy would collide with reality. And I wasn't the one who would have to witness it. I only had to wait for the aftermath. Jack returned from Cabo on a Thursday afternoon, tan, exhausted, hungover, and blissfully unaware that the life he expected to walk back into no longer existed. I wasn't there to see him approach the door, but Dana's retelling was vivid enough to feel like a cinematic replay. He arrived in an Uber, dragging the suitcase I bought him wearing the linen shirt I paid for his hair, gelled just enough to look expensive but messy. The look, he insisted, was effortlessly hot. He probably expected me to open the door, smile, ask about the trip, carry his bags in, and listen to exaggerated stories about bottle service and networking. Instead, he reached for the door, slid his key into the lock. And it didn't turn. He tried again. Nothing. He jiggled it, tapped it, blew on it, swore under his breath. The lock didn't budge. According to Dana, irritation turned to confusion, and confusion quickly curdled into entitlement. He pounded on the door with the heel of his palm. Margaret opened the door. The locks jammed. Dana let him pound for another 20 seconds before sliding the deadbolt back with a heavy metallic thunk. She opened the door, just enough to reveal herself in full. Grease-stained work shirt. Buzz cut, broad shoulders, built like a forklift with emotions. Jack froze. He blinked once. Then again, as if his brain couldn't compute what he was seeing. Who are you?" he demanded. Dana took a slow bite of the granola bar she'd been holding. "Dana, who are you?" Jack straightened his posture. "I live here." "No," Dana replied calmly. "I live here. Signed the lease Monday. Moved in Wednesday. Paid the deposit myself." Jack's face drained a shade lighter than his fake tan. "That's not possible. My girlfriend lives here. This is our apartment." Dana raised an eyebrow. "Your girlfriend?" "The one who pays the bills." "Yes," he snapped. "Where is Margaret?" "Gone," Dana said. "Moved out Sunday. Left nothing behind." Jack tried to shoulder past her, but she didn't move. She didn't even tense. She simply extended her arm across the doorway, a human barrier. "There's nothing inside for you," she said. "No clothes, no furniture, no toiletries. All that's in here is me and my recliner. Check the garage." "What garage?" His voice cracked. "Detached one behind the building. She said your stuff is in boxes. Codes 1, 2, 3, 4. Dana's tone didn't change, but her eyes glinted with amusement. "You've got about 2 hours to get them. I'm leaving for a night shift soon, and I'm locking the gate." She began closing the door. "Wait, you can't do this." Jack wedged his foot in the crack. "I have rights." "Not here, you don't." Dana's voice dropped lower. "You're not on the lease, which means right now you're trespassing." She nudged the door once. Jack stumbled back. Dana closed it fully. My phone rang 3 minutes later. I was on my balcony, a glass of wine in hand, watching the city drift toward sunset. I let it ring twice before answering. "Hello!" Jack's voice came through, shrill and panicked. "What is going on, Margaret? Who is this woman? Why is my key not working? Why is my stuff in the garage?" I sipped my wine. "Hi, Jack. Glad you made it home safely." "Do not do that." His breath was shaking. "What is happening? Where are you? You need to come here right now. There's nothing for me to fix." "What does that even mean? Why is everything gone? Where is my furniture?" "Jack," I said gently, "nothing. In that apartment is yours. I bought the furniture. I bought the TV. I bought the dishes. I bought the couch. I paid every bill. The only things in that garage are what you purchased yourself." Silence. Then a soft, horrified whisper. I didn't buy very much. No, I said. You didn't. He inhaled sharply. Margaret, why are you doing this? What did I do? Just because I went on one trip. One trip, I repeated. You didn't just go on a trip, Jack. You went on a singles trip with your friends and your ex-girlfriend. More silence, but this one wasn't confused. It was guilty. You saw that, he asked. I saw the group chat, I replied. I read every word. The jokes about me being boring, about needing a break from playing house, about being the one who pays your rent, about Sophia. I didn't mean any of that, he blurted. It was just guy talk, just exaggerating. You know how Samuel is. You called me the wallet, Jack. He made a strangled sound somewhere between a gasp and a plea. I was drunk. It was stupid. I love you, Margaret. No, I said quietly. You love what I provide. That's different. His breath hitched. Please, Margaret, don't do this. I have nowhere to go. Samuel won't answer. My parents are out of town. Just let me inside. We can talk. We can fix this. You have 2 hours, I said. I suggest you use them. You can't be serious. You're not really doing this. Margaret, please. You wanted freedom, I said, my voice calm and steady. Now you have it. Margaret. I hung up, blocked the number, set my phone down. The city lights flickered on one by one. Somewhere across town, Jack was staring at a garage full of unmarked boxes, realizing his life had been held together by someone he never thought would leave, and that she already had. People like Jack always assume consequences are distant storms, loud in the distance, harmless where they stand. He believed charm would cover irresponsibility, that someone would always catch him when he fell. But this time there was no one beneath him, and when he finally hit the ground, he hit it hard. He spent nearly an hour crying in the driveway after Dana shut the door in his face. At first he yelled, pounding on the frame and demanding I stop being dramatic. Then the anger turned to pleading. When that failed, he shifted into the quiet kind of panic, the kind that circles a person's head like a swarm of bees when they realize the world won't bend for them. Eventually, reality pushed him toward the detached garage. He punched in the code and watched the door roll up, revealing a small mountain of cardboard boxes and garbage bags, all unmarked. All his, all of the pieces of a life he never expected to have to carry alone. When the movers arrived, they asked which boxes belonged to him. According to Dana, he stood there staring helplessly at the mess before whispering, I don't know. It was strange hearing that because it perfectly summarized his entire approach to adulthood. He tried turning to his friends, the same ones he chose over me, the ones he claimed he needed for his mental health. He went to Samuel's apartment first, dragging 2 suitcases and 3 trash bags behind him. Samuel opened the door, halfway irritation plastered across his face. What happened? Samuel asked. Margaret left me, Jack said, voice shaking. She kicked me out. Can I stay here? Samuel hesitated for less than a second before shaking his head. My girlfriend is staying over. It's not a good time. Sorry. He closed the door, leaving Jack on the welcome mat with his luggage and no welcome. Hours later, one of Samuel's friends apparently told Dana. He was unbearable in Cabo. Wouldn't stop talking about Sophia. Hearing that didn't hurt me. If anything, it clarified what I had escaped. Predictably, Jack reached out to Sophia next. He sent her a long message about how things were complicated and how he wanted to talk. Sophia blocked him before the message bubble even fully delivered. Jack liked to pretend his ex lingered on him, that she would be waiting whenever he snapped his fingers. But the truth was simple. She had moved on long before he ever considered it. Without me underwriting his influencer lifestyle, everything unraveled, almost instantly. His leased car disappeared from a parking lot one morning, repossessed, after the company realized he wasn't making payments. He tried selling his ring lights and equipment online for quick cash, but the market for gently used vanity was surprisingly small. His sponsorships dried up the moment his background changed from urban chic to childhood bedroom with peeling posters. And then came the desperate social media spiral. He posted a tear-streaked story claiming, I had abandoned him out of jealousy, and that he had been left homeless with no warning. But people aren't fools. They remembered the photos from Cabo. They remembered the bragging. They remembered the comments he made about me. One reply stood out. Didn't you just brag about using Margaret to pay your rent? Looks like she finally believed you. He deleted the story within an hour. He deleted his whole account a few days later. Without me, the curated identity he relied on collapsed like a cheap folding chair. With no apartment, no job, and no friends willing to house him, Jack eventually admitted defeat. He bought a one-way bus ticket to his parents' home 2 states away. He told them it was temporary and that he was working through some things. His mother, bless her honesty, apparently said, "Did Margaret finally get tired of carrying you?" Even his family saw what he refused to see. Meanwhile, my life began to breathe again. The money I once poured into Jack's lifestyle flowed into areas of my life that had been starved for attention. I took boxing classes, bought new clothes, filled my kitchen with ingredients I actually wanted to cook with. I furnished my condo with pieces that made me feel calm instead of decorations chosen for aesthetic content. My days no longer revolved around managing someone else's existence. For the first time in years, I was living a life for myself. And in the middle of that quiet rebuilding, I met someone unexpected. Ethan Clark, an architect with a calm confidence that felt like standing on steady ground after years of seasickness. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't chasing an audience. He listened. He asked thoughtful questions. He didn't need to win every conversation, and he didn't treat relationships like business deals. We weren't rushing anything. We were simply choosing each other gently, consistently, without theatrics. It felt adult, warm, safe. And honestly, that kind of safety feels revolutionary after chaos. One Saturday morning, months after leaving, Jack, Ethan, and I were walking through a hardware store together. The fluorescent lights of the hardware store hummed softly overhead, casting a warm glow across the aisles. Ethan and I had spent the morning comparing pendant lights and joking about which ones made our kitchen look more intentional. It felt easy, the kind of comfort I didn't realize I'd been craving for years. I was pushing our cart toward the lighting aisle when I saw someone coming from the opposite direction. At first, I didn't recognize him. His posture was slumped, his hair overgrown at the roots, his shirt wrinkled and cheap. He was pushing a metal cart with a trembling wheel, and his entire face carried the exhaustion of someone who had stopped pretending life was glamorous. It took an extra moment for my brain to catch up. "Jack!" He stopped dead when he saw me. His eyes widened, flicking from my new blazer to my shoes, to the soft gold necklace Ethan gave me last week. Finally, his stare jumped to Ethan, who stood straight, calm, quietly confident. The comparison must have landed heavy because Jack let go of his cart handle entirely, and the wheel squeaked as it turned sideways. "Margaret," he breathed, as if saying my name might undo the past 6 months. I didn't feel anger, not pain, not even satisfaction. Just distance, the kind you feel when looking at an old photograph of a life you can barely remember inhabiting. "Hello, Jack," I said politely, the same tone I'd used to greet a polite stranger. He stepped closer, ignoring Ethan entirely. His smile was shaky, desperate. "Wow, you look incredible. I didn't expect to see you here." "I'm in town for the weekend," I replied. He glanced down, chewing at the inside of his cheek. "Right. I've been thinking about you a lot. Ohio's been rough, really rough, but I've learned a lot. I'm growing, Margaret. I swear I am." I nodded once. "That's good. I hope you keep going." Jack swallowed hard, eyes glistening. "Could we maybe grab coffee, just to talk? I feel like we never got closure, and I miss you. I miss your cooking. I miss how safe you made everything feel. I made a mistake, Margaret, a huge one." He reached out, trying to touch my arm. I stepped aside, gently out of range. Ethan said nothing. He didn't need to. His presence beside me was enough, steady and sure. "Jack," I said softly, "we don't need closure. You closed the door when you got on that plane. I just locked it behind you." Tears pooled in his eyes. "But I can change. I'll do anything. Just please don't walk away from me again." "I'm not walking away from you," I said. "I already walked away, months ago. That chapter is finished." He looked like someone who'd been handed a truth he wasn't built to hold. For the first time, I saw him not as the man I dated or the boy who hurt me, but simply as a person facing the consequences he created with his own hands. "Ready?" I asked Ethan. "Whenever you are," he said, looping his arm through mine. I looked at Jack one last time, not with bitterness or triumph, just acceptance. "There's nothing to fix," I told him. "You wanted a life where you didn't have to answer to me. You have it. I hope you learned something from it." Jack's voice broke. "Please, Margaret, please." But I had already turned. Ethan and I pushed our cart forward, the wheel rolling smoothly over the polished floor. Jack's voice echoed faintly down the aisle, then faded as we walked away. Once we reached the next section, Ethan leaned close and whispered, "Who was that?" I picked up a box of light bulbs, checked the wattage, and placed it in our cart. "Just an old bill," I said. "One I finally paid off." And with that,